Officially, no one has ever escaped from Alcatraz. The prison was surrounded by freezing water, strong currents, and miles of open sea. But in June of 1962, 3 men disappeared into the night. The prison said they drowned. Their families said they survived. And more than 60 years later, no one knows the truth. This is the story of the escape that should have been impossible. Alcatraz was not an ordinary prison. Located on a small island in the middle of San Francisco Bay, it was designed to be inescapable. The water surrounding it was ice cold, averaging just 10 degrees Celsius. The currents were strong enough to pull a swimmer out to the open ocean. Sharks were rumored to patrol the bay. A myth, but a powerful one. Alcatraz housed the most dangerous and intelligent criminals in America, men who had escaped from other prisons, men who caused trouble everywhere they went. The message was simple. Once you arrived at Alcatraz, you were never leaving. Among the prisoners were 3 men who would challenge that idea: Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin. Frank Morris was highly intelligent. His IQ was well above average, and he had a long history of escapes. The Anglin brothers were skilled swimmers, having grown up near rivers in Florida. They were not violent men. They were patient, and they were observant. Together, they noticed something the guards had overlooked. The walls of their cells were old. The salt air had weakened the concrete, and slowly, an idea began to form. The plan took months. Using nothing more than stolen spoons, the men began digging through the back walls of their cells. They worked quietly, hiding the holes with cardboard and toothpaste. At night, Frank Morris played his accordion loudly, masking the sound of digging. Over time, the holes became large enough for a man to crawl through. But escaping the cells was only the beginning. To fool the guards, the men created fake heads, made from soap, toilet paper, toothpaste, and real human hair taken from the prison barber shop. At night, these heads were placed in their beds. From a distance, they looked like sleeping prisoners. The final problem was the water. Swimming was too dangerous, so they did something unbelievable. Using more than 50 stolen raincoats, they built a makeshift inflatable raft and even a life vest. Everything was ready. All they needed was one perfect night. On the night of June 11th, 1962, the plan was set in motion. The guards made their usual rounds. The fake heads lay motionless in the beds. Everything appeared normal. After lights out, the men slipped through the holes in their cells. They climbed into the service corridor, up a ventilation shaft, onto the roof of Alcatraz. One man failed to make it. Alan West couldn't fit through his hole in time. The others left without him. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers climbed down the prison walls, inflated their raft, and vanished into the dark waters of San Francisco Bay. They were never seen again. The official story is simple. Prison authorities claimed the men drowned. The water was too cold, the currents too strong. Pieces of debris were found in the bay. No bodies were ever recovered. Case closed. But families didn't believe it, and neither did everyone else. Over the years, strange details emerged. The Anglin family reportedly received Christmas cards signed by the brothers. Their mother received flowers every year, anonymously. A photograph surfaced years later, allegedly showing the Anglin brothers in Brazil. In 2013, a letter arrived at the FBI. The author claimed to be Frank Morris, one of the 3 men who disappeared from Alcatraz more than 50 years earlier. In the letter, the writer said something unbelievable. He claimed they survived the escape. He wrote that the cold water nearly killed them that night, that one man made it to shore, weak, but alive. According to the letter, the Anglin brothers escaped together. Frank Morris survived alone. He said he lived under a different name, hidden, silent, always looking over his shoulder. At the end of the letter, the writer claimed he was dying of cancer and that he wanted the truth known before it was too late. The FBI investigated the letter, but once again, there was no definitive proof. The case was quietly closed. No confirmation, no bodies, no answers. And maybe that's what makes this story so unsettling, because if the letter was real, then 3 men didn't drown in the bay. They disappeared into the world. They lived their lives knowing they escaped the most secure prison on Earth. And Alcatraz, the prison designed to be inescapable, may have been defeated. So the question remains, did the ocean win that night? Or did 3 prisoners prove that even the strongest walls can't hold human determination? Officially, no one ever escaped from Alcatraz. But unofficially, this mystery remains unsolved.